Alright, what's going on, everybody? So welcome to a brand new series, Redstone with Rob. So, before we get started, I have a little disclaimer. I am not Mumbo. I am not Ilmango. Redstone is not something that I know intricately. I know what the blocks do. I know how to interact with each other. But if you're expecting 10 by 10 piston doors, you are going to be sadly disappointed. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. It's fun. I like the technical aspect of it. So I'm going to see what I can come up with. So, what you see behind me, it looks like fun, doesn't it? Well, let's get to it. So what we have here is a super smelter attached to a zero-tick bamboo farm. Cool, huh? Alright, so now that we got the intro out of the way, let's get to the nitty-gritty. So obviously everybody has built super smelters in the past. They're not anything special, so I'm not going to get into the details about building it. As you can see, I've already built it here. Now, mine is a little different from the conventional super smelter. So if you notice here, I have chests in mine. And the reason is because bamboo is a horrible fuel source. It takes 4 pieces of bamboo to smelt one item. So, normally you have your 64 in the furnace, and then you have another 5 stacks in the hopper. So that's a total of 6 stacks. That's not a lot of items, especially if you're going to run a 32 furnace array, which is what I have here. You're going to burn through stuff really, really fast, which is why I have the chests here. So that gives us an extra 27 stacks plus an extra 5. So not only do we have the 6 that you normally have, we have another 5, so that's 11, and then another 27, so we have 38 stacks of fuel. Which might sound like a lot, but with bamboo, you burn through bamboo really, really fast. So, what is all of this? Let me break this down section by section. So part 1, we're just going to talk about the super smelter. So as you can see, I've already built this. Now this isn't anything fancy. The only differences are going to be the chests and the back system, which I'm going to show you. So the first thing you're going to need to do, obviously, is construct yourself a super smelter. So if you want to build a 32 furnace array, which I have here, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need just over 2.5 stacks of hoppers. You're going to need a minecart with a chest in it. You're going to need 32 furnaces, 6 levers, a normal rail, and 67 powered rails. You're also going to need a block of your choice. You can design this however you want. I just did basic stone just for this demonstration. Alright, so now that we got that built, the next thing we're going to work on is going to be this system here. Now, what is this system? So basically, this allows you to have 2 different modes. You can have a normal super smelter, or you flick this lever and it locks all of the hoppers. Now, what is that for, you ask? Well, it allows you to pull the item out to gather all of the stored XP. Because as of 1.13, furnaces store XP. So if you smelt, say, 12 chokers of glass, when you're getting near the end, lock the hoppers, pull it out, and you'll get a ton of XP. So to build that, now this all depends on how big you have your furnace array. The more furnaces you have, the more you're going to need. The less furnaces, the less you're going to need. So we are going to start gathering our stuff here. So now this is if you did the 32 furnace array. So first thing you're going to need is you're going to need to find out where you want to put your lever. I put it right here because this makes running redstone easy. So we come off of that. We have our repeater. And then you just put a repeater in front of each one of these hot hookers. And then you connect them all with redstone. Now what I do is each gap here, just put a repeater. That way, you're guaranteed that the signal is going to reach and you're not going to have any problems. So there you go. You now have your XP slash auto smelter. And then what I like to do is add a little sign to let me know which option is which option. Alright, so now that we got the XP system done, the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add these chests and these hoppers. So in order to do that, you're going to need 2 stacks of hoppers and a half stack of chests. Now, again, this all depends on how big you make your array. So, what I do is you go through and add a second layer of hoppers here. Once you got that layer done, you'll need to add a chest on top of each one of these hoppers. Now, it needs to be noted that if you're playing in Minecraft 1.12 or below, you need to alternate between normal chests and trap chests. If you're playing in 1.13 or above, you can use normal chests. Okay, timeout. So while I was recording this, I had a little bit of a brain fart. Bamboo wasn't introduced until Minecraft 1.14. So you can't use this in anything below Minecraft 1.14. Yeah, it's late. I'm tired. Carry on. So now once you got that done, you need to go ahead and add more hoppers on top. And then once you got that done, what I like to do is add blocks separated into 2 lines. You don't have to do this. I just like it because it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing. Okay. So now once we got that done, we need to add our rails. Now another note is that when you're building this, you want to try to go east to west. Because if you go north to south, you're going to have some problems when it comes to laying down the rails. It shouldn't be as bad because you're not, like, the rails aren't meeting up anywhere. So you shouldn't have too much of an issue, but better safe than sorry. So you want to make sure all these rails are powered. So there we go. There is the super smelter itself done. Alright, so the next part that we're going to build is going to be this section right here. Now, what is this section? I will explain it to you. So the way it works is this is the farm. That's going to be our next step. So what happens is it comes in here and fills it up. It fills into this. When this is full, your comparator compares the signal that's coming off of this block. It will release the minecart and the minecart will go down. It will keep going down and keep coming back, just like this, until the cart is empty. When the cart is empty, that's what this detection rail is for. It will detect that the cart is empty, it will trigger this system here, and it will flip this rail to this way, which then will allow the cart to come back and get refilled up again, and the process will start all over again. So to build that system, this is what you will need. You will need a power rails, 2 detector rails, a normal rail. You will need any type of fence. You will need building blocks, a block of redstone, a sticky piston, 4 comparators, 5 repeaters, 32 dust, a lever, and 3 torches. Alright, so now that you got all the materials, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build a little platform here, 4 blocks by 3 blocks. Now, if you build your super smelter into the ground, then you don't need to do this. You need to have 3 blocks between the top and the bottom, as you can see here. So now, if you remember over there, at the end of the smelter, you'll need to have 2 blocks, and then your third one is going to be your detector rail. Off of your detector rail, you're going to want to have your comparator and going into a block. Underneath that, you'll have a piece of dust. Then you put a block down, a repeater. Off of that repeater, you have a block, dust, dust, repeater. So that is that section done. So on this side, you want to do a block with dust on top, going into a repeater, set to 3 ticks, dust, and another repeater. At the end, a block and a torch. So that section is done. So now you finish the rails. You have more powered rails here. And then this one right here, you're going to want to have a normal rail. Now, you can do this little out here, whatever you want to call it. You can do it to either side. It doesn't matter which side you do it to. However, you have to take into consideration of all of the redstone. It's the same thing with this. You could have all of this on this side. The issue is going to be with this line here. You're going to have to run this a different way to avoid messing with this redstone. But if you have the space, or if for some reason you can't build right here, you can build it over here. It's not a problem. You just have to reroute your redstone a little bit. So what I like to do is I like to run, as you can see right here, I like to run this line out of the back. It makes it a little bit easier. So then we run 2 and then up. There we go. And then we have to power these. So now they're powered. So now the next thing we got to do is we got to do this part right here. So this is where your items collection is going to be, and this is where the comparator and everything is going to be. So you go 3 blocks and then a detection rail. So 1, 2, 3 rails. Oop, I already have it. And then your detector rail. So then you're gonna want to go another 2 blocks. Place your powered rails like this. Once you do this, you can destroy that rail. You don't need that anymore. Off of the detector rail, you're going to want to build 2 blocks and then a block up. So we're going to need to get our comparators again. So we need to do 2 comparators, 1 comparator in compare mode, as you can see here. So then we got to do this side and then the piston. So then we got 1 block and then a block of redstone. And then we get our dust, and that is done. On top of this block, you do a torch. Off of that torch, you do a piston. On that piston, you do a fence. So now that is done. All right, so we got our super smelter almost done. The next thing we need to do is we need to build the farm. To build the farm, this is what you will need. Some type of building block, some form of hoppers. It doesn't matter how many. You'll need at least 3. You may need more depending on how far back you build the farm, but you'll need at least 3. You'll need 5 pistons, 3 sticky pistons, 2 pieces of dirt, 2 redstone torches, 2 redstone pieces of dust, and an observer. Obviously, you'll also need bamboo, and you'll need a few pieces of bone meal to grow the bamboo. So now let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is on top of this slanted rail, you're going to want to put your first hopper. Then you're going to build a couple hoppers off of that. Off of that, you're going to want to do your dirt. Underneath this hopper line, you're going to want to put a block. On each side of that block, you're going to want to put a torch. Off of each torch, you're going to put a block, and then you're going to put redstone. Now, to put the pistons down. So on one side, you will go out, 2 blocks, and put the piston. On the opposite side, you will go out 1 block and put the piston. See how that works? And then you go destroy that. The next thing you're going to do is off of each piston, you'll need a block. And you'll see that start firing. On top of each block and underneath each block, you'll want to put regular pistons. And then the farm starts firing. So you see how it goes so fast that this block technically doesn't disappear. So now let me shut this off real quick. Now in order to do that, you want to put your piston underneath, and you're going to need a lever to shut this off. Once you shut this off, you're not going to need that anymore. So you pull this block off, and that shuts off the farm. Simple, right? So now you put down the observer, facing down. On top of that, you put a block. You come back, and then you'll want to add one more piston. Then you can destroy that block. So this is your farm. This is the farm right here. That's it. That's pretty simple, isn't it? So now that we got that done, you put down your bamboo, and then you bone meal it. You want to have this as a stalk, or else it'll just break. The farm will break. So the next thing that I like to do is I like to surround this with blocks. And that way it's a lossless. The only place it can go is in here. So now you can put, I fell. So now you can put them there if you want. It won't hurt. And then again, you go up top. You turn the farm on. And as you can see, it breaks it pretty quickly. For the final piece of the puzzle, this system here. What this system does is it detects when you're full. When this chest is full, it turns the farm off. As soon as this chest isn't 100% full, it turns the farm back on. And we go back to producing more bamboo, which I think I have. Yeah, I don't even have any bamboo in it. As soon as it fills up, it turns the farm off. So this is something you could leave running, theoretically, non-stop. This is server friendly. Now you will see a tiny bit of lag because this is a zero-tick farm, but it should not be enough to where it affects anything. So now let's get building. So to build this is what you're going to need. Now, it all depends on where this runs. This does not have to be in a straight line. It all depends on your surroundings, where you want to run the stone. That all depends. But to run it in a straight line right to it, you're going to need dust. You're going to need a block of redstone, a torch, a few repeaters, a comparator, and building blocks. So what you want to do is you want to come over here and you want to build out a couple blocks. You'll want to put your comparator in compare mode, a block, and then down here you want to put your block. The reason you put it down here is so it doesn't affect any of this. And then you put your redstone. So then you come this way and you build a redstone line that leads to right here. Bingo. That's it. So then at the corner, you put a block. Dust, torch. And then you just run redstone. You might need to run repeaters, depending on how far away it is. Now, as soon as I put this repeater down, this farm's going to start firing because there's nothing in this system. So now we put it down, and then the farm starts. And that is going to keep going until this chest completely fills up. Now, before that chest fills up, the furnace has to fill up, and these two hoppers have to fill up. So like I was saying over there, that's a lot of fuel. So now let's break this just for the noise levels. Congratulations! You have now just completed your super smelter with automatic unlimited fueling. You should feel pretty good about yourself. I do. I hope you guys enjoyed this new little series, Redstone with Rob. I'm not sure how many videos are going to be in this series. It all depends on how many things I can come up with. Speaking of coming up with, let me reiterate. This was Cubfan. This was Ilmango. Respective videos will be in the description. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you next time.